They look like ordinary pennies, but some of them are worth a fortune. Lost in change jars, tucked in drawers, hiding in plain sight, these 5 rare wheat pennies could turn spare change into serious cash. Think you've seen them all? Think again. Let's dive into the top 5 wheat pennies that every collector dreams of finding. Welcome to HD Coins World. Let's get started. Number 1. If you've ever sifted through your spare change or stumbled upon an old coin jar tucked away in a dusty corner, you might be holding a tiny piece of American history worth far more than a single cent. In fact, one small copper coin from 1950 could be hiding a secret that turns it into a 4 or even 5-figure treasure. That's right. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of wheat pennies, and specifically the legendary 1950 D. Lincoln wheat penny. This humble coin has captured the imagination of collectors for decades. And if you know what to look for, it could turn your curiosity into cold, hard cash. Let's explore the history, the hidden gems, and the incredible value hiding in plain sight. Back in 1909, the U.S. Mint introduced the Lincoln wheat cent to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first time a U.S. president had ever appeared on a circulating coin. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this coin featured Lincoln's bust on the obverse and 2 wheat stalks curving around the words, 1 cent, on the reverse, a symbol of abundance, hope, and the American spirit. These coins were minted until 1958, and during that nearly 50-year run, several varieties and errors made their way into circulation. Some of these are now extremely valuable, with collectors searching high and low to find them. Now, when it comes to the 1950 D wheat penny, minted in Denver, it might look like just another copper coin. But don't let appearances fool you. There are a few subtle but highly sought-after varieties from this year that can take this penny from ordinary to extraordinary. So what types of varieties should you be looking for? Let's start with D over D mint mark errors. This is when the Denver Mint punched the letter D more than once, slightly off from the first strike. It may appear as a shadow, a doubling, or even a distorted mint mark. These are called RPMs, repunched mint marks, and collectors absolutely love them. One specific 1950 D RPM variety is especially desirable, and it's what we'll talk more about in just a bit. Next are doubled dies. This happens when the coin's design is stamped twice onto the die out of alignment, causing parts of the design, like the date, liberty, or the motto, "In God We Trust," to appear doubled. While not as common on the 1950 D penny, some doubled die varieties have been reported and can increase the coin's value substantially. Then there are off-center strikes and broad strikes. These errors happen during the minting process, and they give the coin an unusual shape or off-balance appearance. A wheat penny that's 10 to 30% off-center and still shows a full date can be worth quite a bit. One of the most fun, and most profitable, parts of coin collecting is learning how to spot these varieties yourself. And the great thing is, you don't need any fancy equipment to get started. A simple magnifying glass and good lighting can reveal a world of detail. When checking for a valuable 1950 D penny, pay close attention to the mint mark. If the D looks like it's been punched twice, or if it seems to have a shadow or slight doubling, you might have a repunched mint mark. Also, examine the words and numbers carefully. If you see any doubling, particularly in Liberty or the date, take note. Compare it to known error varieties listed by trusted coin grading companies like PCGS or NGC, and don't forget the condition. A coin in mint state, meaning it shows no wear and still has its original luster, can be worth significantly more than a worn-out example. A coin with a sharp strike, clear details, and clean surfaces could land you in collector gold territory. Coin collecting is more than just a hobby, it's a real-life treasure hunt. Each wheat penny you come across might be holding a secret. And with just a bit of knowledge and a sharp eye, you can start discovering pieces of American history that others overlook. Many collectors began with just one wheat penny in their pocket and ended up building entire collections. Some even passed them down through generations, turning these copper coins into family heirlooms. So next time you find a penny from the 1950s, don't toss it aside. Take a closer look. That simple coin might just be one of the rarest and most valuable varieties out there. Now for the part everyone's been waiting for. How much is a 1950 wheat penny actually worth? Well, if you happen to find the right variety, such as a perfectly preserved repunched mint mark in high mint state condition, you're looking at a value of $15,370. And in the rarest, most pristine cases, collectors have paid as much as $67,000 for one of these humble 1-cent coins. It just goes to show, what looks like pocket change could actually be a fortune hiding in plain sight. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more incredible coin stories. Happy hunting, and may your next penny be the treasure you've been searching for. Number 2. Imagine walking through your garage, opening up an old drawer, and finding a dusty jar of coins. You pop the lid, pour them out, and there it is, a 1949 Lincoln wheat penny. Seems ordinary, right? But what if I told you that little copper coin could secretly be worth tens of thousands of dollars? Yes, that's the magic of wheat pennies. They're not just old coins, they're pieces of American history, packed with hidden treasures and surprising stories. And today, we're zeroing in on one of the most underrated coins in the series, the 1949 wheat penny. Get ready to uncover 5 valuable wheat penny varieties every collector wants, and how you can spot them before anyone else does. Let's rewind the clock for a moment. The Lincoln wheat penny was introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, the first real person ever featured on a U.S. coin in circulation. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse proudly displays Lincoln's bust, while the reverse features 2 stylized wheat stalks surrounding the words 1 cent. It's a design that stood strong through world wars, economic upheavals, and millions of everyday transactions. By 1949, the wheat penny was a familiar sight across America. That year, the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints struck hundreds of millions of these coins, but not all 1949 cents were created equal. Among them are rare varieties and eras that have become the holy grail for collectors today. So what makes a simple penny from 1949 stand out? Let's explore the varieties that could be hiding right under your nose. First up, double die obverse. This is when parts of the coin's front, like the date, the word liberty, or the motto, "In God We Trust," appear slightly doubled. The doubling occurs when the die that strikes the coin shifts between impressions, resulting in a doubled design. Although 1949 doubled dies aren't as common as in earlier years, they do exist and can command serious attention from collectors. Next, repunched mint marks, or RPMs. In 1949, both the Denver and San Francisco mints produced wheat pennies. Sometimes the small D or S was accidentally punched more than once in slightly different positions. A repunched mint mark creates a shadowed or doubled appearance, and when it's clear and dramatic, collectors go wild for it. A 1949S or 1949D with a strong RPM can be worth many times more than its face value. Now, let's talk about die cracks and die breaks. These are raised lines or bumps on the coin caused by a damaged die. While these don't always bring sky-high values, unique or eye-catching die breaks, especially ones that seem to form shapes or patterns, can attract collector interest and bring in a premium. Another valuable variety to watch for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin isn't properly aligned during minting, and part of the design is missing or shifted. A 10% to 50% off-center 1949 penny, especially if the date remains fully visible, is both rare and visually striking, exactly the kind of thing that excites collectors. And don't forget about BI errors, a quirky and collectible die break between the letters B and E in Liberty, making it appear as though there's an I in between. These are unique to the Lincoln series and are fun finds that many collectors seek out. Now, how can you tell if your 1949 wheat penny is worth anything? Start with a simple magnifying glass. Look closely at the date and mint mark. Do you see any doubling? Does the mint mark look like it was struck more than once? Are there odd shapes or lines on the surface that don't seem natural? These could be your clues, and perhaps most importantly, check the condition. Coins that have never been in circulation and still shine with their original luster are known as mint state coins. If your 1949 penny has no wear, sharp details, and clean surfaces, it could be worth far more than a circulated example. That's the thrill of wheat penny collecting. It turns everyday coins into historical artifacts. It transforms pocket change into potential paydays. And for collectors of all ages, it's like embarking on a treasure hunt, where the next great discovery could be hiding at the bottom of a jar, in an old roll of pennies, or even in your wallet right now. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, wheat pennies are a gateway into the rich and rewarding world of numismatics. They're not just about money, they're about connection. To history. To craftsmanship. To the stories carried by each coin that passed from hand to hand across generations. So don't overlook that 1949 penny. It may be one of the varieties that collectors dream about. Now here's the part you've been waiting for. If you happen to find a rare variety, especially a doubled die, repunched mintmark, or an uncirculated gem, you could be looking at a value of $12,000. And in exceptional cases, pristine specimens of the 1949 wheat penny have sold for as much as $68,000, all from a single copper coin that most people would walk right past. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into wheat pennies, hit that like button, subscribe for more coin collecting secrets, and ring the bell so you never miss a rare find. And remember, the next great treasure might just be hiding in your pocket. Number 3. What if I told you that a small copper coin from 1953, the kind you might find in an old piggy bank or tucked away in your grandparents' drawer, could be worth more than a luxury vacation, or even a new car? It might sound like a stretch, but the truth is, the 1953 Lincoln wheat penny holds secrets that could turn a single cent into a five-figure treasure. Collectors around the world are on the hunt for these hidden gems, and today, we're revealing the 5 wheat penny varieties every serious collector is chasing, and how you can spot them before they disappear into someone else's collection. It all started in 1909. To honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, the U.S. Mint made a bold move, placing a real person's image on circulating U.S. currency for the first time. The Lincoln Wheat Cent was born, a striking copper coin with Lincoln's bust on the front and 2 elegant wheat stalks framing the words, 1 cent, on the back. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the wheat penny was more than just money. It became a symbol of patriotism, history, and American pride. These coins were minted from 1909 until 1958, and over the years, millions upon millions were struck. But not all wheat pennies were created equal. Some have errors, misstrikes, and rare features that collectors dream of finding, and one of those years was 1953, minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The 1953 wheat penny might seem ordinary at first glance. But look a little closer, and you might just discover something extraordinary. Let's break down the varieties that make the 1953 wheat penny so exciting for collectors. The first variety to know about is the repunched mintmark, or RPM. In the 1950s, mintmarks were still punched into the dies by hand. That left plenty of room for error. On a 1953D or 1953S penny, look closely at the mintmark. If it appears doubled or slightly off, that's a repunched mintmark. Some of these RPMs are bold and clear, with dramatic doubling that's unmistakable. And when found in mint state, they can be extremely valuable. Next up, the doubled die obverse. This variety is caused when the die that strikes the coin shifts between impressions, creating a doubling effect on the design. It's most noticeable in the date, the word Liberty, or In God We Trust. While doubled dies from 1953 are less common than in some other years, a few known varieties are out there, and they're highly sought after when found. Then we have BIE errors, a favorite among Lincoln collectors. These are tiny die breaks that appear between the letters B and E in Liberty, forming what looks like a small I. These errors are fun to collect, and some 1953 pennies show particularly clear and defined BIE breaks, which can command a premium. Let's not forget about off-center strikes. These are coins that were misaligned during minting, leaving part of the design missing. A 1953 wheat penny that's 10 to 30% off-center with the full date still visible is both rare and valuable. It's a dramatic error that's instantly noticeable, and collectors love those visual oddities. And finally, keep an eye out for die cracks and cuds. These are raised lines or blobs on the coin caused by damage to the die. A large cud, a break near the edge of the coin where metal fills the gap, is not only rare, it's also a striking visual error that gets the attention of serious collectors. So, how do you know if you've got one of these valuable varieties? Start by examining your 1953 penny under a magnifying glass. Focus on the mint mark. Does it look like it was punched twice? Check the lettering for unusual shapes or shadows that could indicate doubling. Look at Liberty, the date, and the motto. Do any of the letters seem thick or doubled? Are there any odd lines, bumps, or breaks that shouldn't be there? And most importantly, check the condition. A heavily circulated wheat penny might only be worth a few cents. But an uncirculated 1953 penny, with original luster and no signs of wear, can be worth hundreds, or even thousands, depending on the variety. That's what makes wheat penny collecting so rewarding. You never know what you'll find until you look. Each coin tells a story, from its design and minting to the hands it's passed through. And sometimes, that story includes a valuable twist. For coin collectors, these pennies aren't just currency. They're pieces of a puzzle, treasures waiting to be discovered, and moments of history you can hold in your hand. And once you start searching, it's hard to stop. You'll find yourself checking every penny, every coin jar, every roll from the bank, just in case that next rare find is waiting inside. So whether you're a lifelong collector or just getting started, the 1953 wheat penny is one coin you'll want to keep an eye on. It's proof that something small and overlooked can still pack a serious punch. And now, the big question: how much is a rare 1953 wheat penny really worth? If you happen to find one of the top varieties, like a bold repunched mint mark in uncirculated condition, or a strong doubled die, you could be holding a coin worth $12,500. And in the absolute best cases, with flawless condition and rare variety combined, a 1953 wheat penny has sold for as much as $60,000. Not bad for a coin most people leave lying on the sidewalk. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or inspiring, hit that like button, subscribe for more coin collecting tips, and ring the bell so you never miss a rare find. Until next time, keep checking your change, keep the thrill alive, and happy collecting. Number 4. Imagine picking up a penny from the bottom of your change jar, a dusty, brownish coin that most people would toss aside without a second glance. But what if that plain-looking coin was actually a 1954 wheat penny worth tens of thousands of dollars? You heard that right. A single cent from 1954 could be hiding in plain sight, carrying hidden features that make it one of the most wanted coins in the hobby. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of wheat pennies and uncovering 5 valuable varieties every collector wants, including how you can spot a treasure in your own collection. Let's start with a quick trip back in time. The Lincoln wheat penny, first minted in 1909, was created to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It marked the first time in American history that a real person appeared on everyday U.S. coinage. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin featured Lincoln's iconic profile on the front and 2 wheat stalks on the back, a simple, bold design that represented strength and prosperity. Wheat pennies were minted until 1958, and during those years, billions were struck across the country. But not all pennies are equal, and that's where it gets interesting. In 1954, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of 1-cent coins. But a handful of those coins were struck with unusual varieties or errors, making them rare, highly collectible, and extremely valuable. So let's break down the 5 types of 1954 wheat penny varieties that collectors are constantly on the lookout for. First on the list is the repunched mint mark, or RPM. Back in the 1950s, mint marks like the D for Denver were punched into the die by hand. And sometimes that D was punched more than once, slightly off from the original position. This creates a shadow-like doubling effect on the mint mark. On a 1954 penny, these repunched mint marks come in several known varieties, and when found in high grades, they can fetch impressive prices from collectors who specialize in RPMs. Next, we have the doubled die obverse. While not as common in 1954 as in some other years, doubled dies do exist and are incredibly valuable when found. These coins show strong doubling in the lettering, especially in Liberty, in God We Trust, and sometimes even the date. When the doubling is bold and visible to the naked eye, it becomes a must-have variety for serious numismatists. Another fun one to watch for is the BI error. This quirky variety features a small die break between the letters B and E in the word Liberty, which looks like a tiny capital I. These die breaks occurred from repeated use of the coin die and are found in many wee pennies, including 1954D. While not worth thousands on their own, well-formed BIE errors are a fun find and add character to any collection. Let's talk about off-center strikes. These dramatic minting errors occur when the blank planchet isn't properly centered during striking, causing part of the design to be cut off. A 1954D wee penny struck 10 to 40% off-center, with the full date and mint mark still visible, can be a real showstopper, and worth a solid chunk of change. And finally, don't overlook die cracks and cuds. These errors happen when the die that strikes the coin begins to break down or crack, resulting in raised lines or blobs of metal where there shouldn't be any. Large die cuds, especially on the rim or across the lettering, are rare and collectible. A well-placed cut on a 1954D penny can be a unique, one-of-a-kind find. Now that you know what to look for, how can you spot one of these varieties? Start by examining your 1954D penny with a good magnifying glass or loupe. Check the mint mark carefully. Does it look doubled or shadowed? Look at the words on the front of the coin. Are any letters or numbers doubled or oddly shaped? Check the rim and fields for raised lines, cracks, or blobs of metal. And above all, assess the condition. The less wear, the better. Uncirculated or mint state 1954D pennies with rare varieties can be extremely desirable. Luster, sharp details, and minimal contact marks all play a major role in determining value. Wee penny collecting isn't just a hobby, it's a treasure hunt. Every coin you examine is like flipping over a stone and seeing what's underneath. Maybe it's common. Maybe it's nothing special. But maybe, just maybe, it's one of the rare few that slipped through the cracks and ended up in your pocket, waiting to be discovered decades later. And let's be honest, there's something deeply satisfying about finding real value in something so small. Something that millions of people overlook every day. Wee pennies are more than coins. They're time capsules. They've traveled through history, through the hands of soldiers, shopkeepers, farmers, and schoolchildren. And now, they might be sitting in your coin jar or tucked away in a forgotten drawer, quietly waiting for you to recognize their worth. So what's the potential value of a rare 1954D wee penny? If you discover a top-grade repunched mint mark, a bold double die, or a major off-center error, and that coin is in mint state, you could be looking at a value of $14,100. And in extremely rare cases, when condition and rarity align perfectly, the price can reach as high as $64,000. Yes, $64,000 for a single penny. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this look into the hidden treasures of wee pennies, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more exciting coin discoveries, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a video. Keep your eyes on your change, keep digging through those jars, and happy collecting. You never know what cent might change your life. Number 5. Have you ever glanced at a penny and thought, it's just 1 cent? What if I told you that one of those ordinary-looking coins, specifically a 1957 wee penny, could actually be worth more than $60,000? Yes, seriously. That little copper coin hiding in your coin jar, stuck in a drawer, or given as change from your morning coffee could be a hidden gem. And if it has one of a few rare features, collectors would love to get their hands on it. Today, we're uncovering the secrets of the 1957 wee penny, a coin that's not just a piece of history, but also a potential treasure. We'll explore the 5 must-know varieties collectors are hunting for, how to spot them, and how you can join the fun, even on a shoestring budget. Let's rewind the clock for a moment. The wee penny, officially known as the Lincoln cent, made its debut in 1909. It marked a historic change, Abraham Lincoln became the first real person featured on U.S. coinage. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin's reverse showcased two graceful wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent. It was simple, iconic, and deeply American. Wheat pennies were minted until 1958, and the 1957 edition came near the end of this era. During that year, the U.S. Mint struck over 1 billion Lincoln wheat cents between the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Most of them were used, spent, and forgotten, but a very few, were struck with peculiar features that now make them incredibly rare. So let's break down the 5 wheat penny varieties from 1957 that every collector is hoping to find. First up is the repunched mint mark, commonly known as an RPM. If your penny has a tiny D under the date, it means it was minted in Denver. But in the 1950s, mint marks were punched into dies by hand, and sometimes the mint worker didn't hit it just right, so they'd punch it again. This double punching created a shadowed or overlapping D that's easy to miss unless you're looking closely. These repunched mint marks come in different styles, and when found in mint state, they're in high demand. Second, there's the elusive double die obverse. This is where the real magic happens. A double die occurs when the die, the stamp that imprints the coin's design, shifts slightly between impressions, causing doubling in the image. On a 1957 penny, this might show up in Liberty, In God We Trust, or even the numbers in the date. A strong, clear double die can turn a common coin into a rare collectible worth thousands. The third variety is the ever-popular BI error. This quirky little variety gets its name from a vertical die crack that appears between the B and E in Liberty. The crack often looks like a capital letter I, making the word appear to read Beberty. These die breaks aren't super valuable on their own, but collectors love them because they're fun, unique, and sometimes very well formed. Fourth, let's talk about off-center strikes. These errors are pretty obvious. Part of the design is missing because the coin wasn't centered properly during minting. A 1957 penny that's 10 to 30% off-center, but still shows the full date, is a visual treat and can be worth a solid premium. The more dramatic the strike, and the cleaner the condition, the more desirable it becomes. And finally, we have die cracks and cuds. These errors are caused by damage or wear on the dies that strike the coins. A cud is a blob of metal, usually near the rim, where part of the die has broken off. Die cracks look like raised lines snaking through the design. When large or positioned across key features, these errors become collector favorites. So, how do you know if your 1957 wheat penny is one of these rare varieties? First, you'll want a good magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Check the mint mark, especially if it's a Denver mint. D. Look for signs of doubling, like shadows on the letters or numbers. Study Liberty for cracks, and scan the rim for raised blobs or lines. And always check the overall condition of the coin. Pennies with sharp details, original luster, and no scratches or discoloration are far more valuable. Now, here's where things get exciting. A 1957 wheat penny might seem like just another copper coin. But the truth is, it's a symbol of a different time. These pennies passed through the hands of milkmen, factory workers, soldiers, and kids buying bubble gum. They hold a tangible link to our past. And the hunt for these rare varieties makes collecting them both thrilling and addictive. You never know what you might find in a roll of pennies from the bank, an old change jar, or your grandfather's coin box. Every wheat penny you examine is a new chance to strike gold, not just financially, but in the stories you'll uncover along the way. Wheat penny collecting is more than just a hobby. It's part history lesson, part detective work, and part treasure hunt. And once you start looking, you'll never see your pocket change the same way again. So what's the potential payoff for one of these rare 1957 wheat penny varieties? If you discover a strong repunched mint mark, or a bold double die in excellent, uncirculated condition, you could be holding a coin worth $12,550. And in exceptional cases, where rarity and condition perfectly align, collectors have paid as much as $62,000 for a single 1957 wheat penny. Not bad for a coin that started its life worth just 1 cent. Thanks for watching. If this video sparked your curiosity, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more coin collecting secrets, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a rare find. Until next time, keep your eyes on your change, keep the passion alive, and happy collecting. You never know what treasures are waiting in your pocket.